And yes, I'm wearing a Corvette scarf. It's cold, man, even in the shop. What happened to the big-ass fan? Wasn't it supposed to kick down some heat?
It's still turning.
It's not working right now. Hey, good to see you guys. And good to see this guy. Welcome back, Chuck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I heard you were watching Tech Tuesday a couple of times. I went solo. Did I do okay? Did I meet your approval?
Sure. I just found it awful funny that this whole entire end of the shop was full of vets. Both times.
Well, it kind of set the scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
of course.
Important. Thanks for returning my calls, my messages.
Yeah.
What the heck's wrong with you? I need your wife's number next time. I got one reply from him, but I knew that you were tired and sore, but you look great, though, man.
Well, thanks. I've come through it okay. So.
Even though it was a wasted trip, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Wasted trip and money.
Great time this past weekend. In case we haven't had a chance to talk about it, we're going to share some highlights with you guys. I did one small little thing yesterday on YouTube where I got mad at my car. I'm just turning so much, and I hit the talk thing, and she's talking at me, and I said, shut up. She goes, okay. I was just frustrated. And I had a great time with all the guys, especially at Paragon, Chance, Corey, and Rob. And I got razzed from the guys again. More on that in a future upload. It was just nice to be at the NCM Motorsports Park. They need to do more of those open autocrosses, $50, and drive your car. And I got a fun segment and a really funny segment coming up from those highlights. But I was happy to do what I did, knowing that I could have done better, and I still, again, last year, guys, I only did 3 autocross events, so I learned something again at the one we did this past weekend, and I'll share that with you when we cover the highlights from this very first one, kind of kick off the season, which was uncustomary in 32-degree weather in January. But what the hell? We were out there having a good time. Got some great-looking cars to show you tonight, your beautiful rides. Those will come up at the end of the show. Tech Tuesday is underway. Thanks for your emails. We do appreciate it. What do you got for us, Chuck?
I've got one here. I'm not sure who sent it. There's no name on it. It says, Rick, first, thanks so much for being the Corvette guy you are. Your love and passion for the brand is what brings everyone that owns a Corvette together in the community. That is the Corvette owners and lovers we are. Your passion and ability to deliver the content and information that not only yourself, but least we not forget Father Chuck brings. This is timeless and unmeasurable, and something that its value could not be put on. So with that, I knew you would love to pass this along. Always dream big, drive fast, and always in a Corvette.
That's good to get that kind of feedback, really is.
Yeah.
Because I got one that's actually the opposite of that feedback before the ride segment, so, you can't make everybody happy, but thank you guys.
Can't please them all.
You have no idea how much that means to us. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. We talked about this before the show tonight. Really interesting scenario. Trunk latch, not the front trunk, the actual trunk on a 2024 Corvette convertible. And this comes from Pat in Connecticut. This is, Dear Rick, first of all, I've watched all of your shows for ages, and you, by the way, were a judge at our Connecticut Vets at the Beach show a couple of years ago. And I had a chance to go again this past September, and I had to cancel it again. I'm sorry, guys. That was a wonderful show. Thanks for the hospitality. I hope to make it back there next year. He says, I am at a loss. I had an issue where my trunk would not open again, the back trunk of a 24 convertible. I brought it to my local Chevy dealership. After 3 days of trying to open it, listen to this, they drilled a hole in the back of the trunk and went in with something and got it opened. I had a piece of cloth that was actually stuck in the latch. The latch now works fine, but the light on the dash says that the trunk is open. They may have damaged it when they went into the trunk. They want another $800 to fix it, and it won't be covered under warranty. The car has 3,000 miles on it. Had they disconnected the battery, this is a question for you, and left it sit for a few minutes, could have they reset that thing so they could open up the trunk?
Probably not.
He goes, it looks like I had some shirt sleeves in the trunk and they got jammed up in there, not realizing that could have caused this problem. GM, this is a good point, GM never should have removed the manual key lock behind the license plate to access that trunk in this very situation. Any suggestions what I could do? Pat, again, in Connecticut. Thanks for watching. Sending the question. This is interesting. So the key latch is not there.
Right.
You said, I saw you shaking your head, disconnecting the battery would have not allowed them to access that trunk. So there is an emergency cable in the event that one of us or a little kid or what have you got stuck in that trunk. So how would he have gotten into that trunk without drilling a hole through the trunk?
Well, GM put this out in an emerging issue several months ago because they'd had some problems with this. And their recommendation is to, whether you have a convertible or a coupe, try to pry the trunk apart, the trunk and the deck lid apart, and go in through the seal and reach the emergency release.
Almost like you did in the old days with the
pop it.
coat hanger trying to open up your door.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you can't access it that way, the other recommendation is to take the right rear wheel off, take the right rear inner fender panel out, and at the bottom corner of that trunk assembly, there's a wiring lube, rubber wire loop that goes through. It's about this big around. Their suggestion is to punch that in just a little bit so you can move the wiring harness out of the way, and then fish up in there with a coat hanger or something and pull the emergency release to let the trunk open.
Okay, so they still really need to get to that release, not drilling a hole. Wow.
Well, I mean, they got to the release by drilling a hole in the trunk, but there's ways to do it without damaging the car.
It's weird. When they got rid of that keyhole slot, they never told us why. I mean, did you really save that? I mean,
it's got to be a cost thing, yes.
Well, I mean, was it really a cost thing, or was it in the way of something else? I mean, it didn't really make any sense to us. And now you have the situation that was just ironic that he was a victim by not having that, but also not having a dealership, not knowing that to do the two things you suggested, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, GM's not going to say, hey, just get a drill and start drilling on it. That's not their way.
That's right. We've got more for you. Thanks for joining us tonight on Tech Tuesday.
All right. This one comes from Chris. It says a couple of Tech Tuesday questions. What is the proper way to put your C8 Stingray on jack stands? I'd like to replace my factory brakes with the low dust Corvette pads and haven't seen a video discussing how to do this. And I printed it off. Rick's going to put some stuff in there from GM to show you where to jack and how to jack and where to place the jack stands.
That's a novel. I'm supposed to show that?
Well, you can just show the pictures.
Okay.
Yes, it is a novel, but...
Well, yeah, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when you were working on my car, that it's easy, especially on C8, to look at those. Oh, there's the holes. I'm going to jack it up right there. Those are the holes that are tie down when they're shipping from Bowling Green.
Yeah, they're too far forward.
Yeah, your jacking points are much different, and the one that's most important is the one that's all the way back in the far corner, as far back, as close to that rear wheel that you possibly can to make sure you have the balance correct when you're jacking up the car.
If you look, there's another slot back there. There's an oblong slot in the rear of the frame where the jacking puck twists in. That's where you want to jack it at.
Okay.
Not just behind the driver, not behind the doors. That's too far forward.
That's right. Another question too, right?
Yes. Second question is, what is the correct procedure to replace these pads? I've watched several videos, but would like input of an expert.
I've been wanting to do not jacking pads, but brake pads myself because I change them out. You know, track driving, street driving. Let me tell you something, guys. There's really no easy way. This is something I don't think that we should be doing on our own. He'll tell you why.
Well, I mean, I just took another emerging class today where they discussed the 6 different braking systems for Corvettes.
Right.
They now have 6 different braking systems.
I know, it's nuts.
You know, they have one for E-Ray, they have one for ZR1, one for ZR1X, 2 for Stingray. I mean,
you got a couple for Z06, ceramic brakes, Z07.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right,
so
right.
There's actually, GM had 6 braking packages for these C8 models.
Right.
If you have the lower brakes that are just have the pins through them, those are a lot easier. You still have to be careful, like I've said a million times, guys. If you're going to do anything with the brakes on these cars, disconnect the battery first. You have to.
Now, the pin things that you're talking about, that's a non-Z51 car, is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
that's
so
just
that's
the base
easy to do.
Stingray, yeah.
And I think for Chris, and like myself, I think he has a Z51, and those are a little bit more involved.
Well, yeah, the Z51s, the calipers actually have to come loose from the car because they have, instead of pins, they have bolts that go into the caliper that's a special headed Torx. It's like a, what do I want to say, a safety Torx where it has the Torx and the pin that comes through in the middle. So you have to have a special socket to get those out.
Right.
I've checked with Snap-on and some other tool dealers. They don't have that. Can't get it.
It's hard to get in.
Yeah, and they might have something now, but when they first come out, I checked on getting them and they didn't have them. So, but even at that, I have to take the caliper loose from the the knuckle, and then you can slide the pads in and pull them out.
Okay.
But and then when you put them back down in, you got to put them back down in and line the bolts that you can't get out, go through the holes, line them back in, and slide them back in place.
Okay, so if a guy says, hey, I'm going to do this on my own, hey, thanks, Rick and Chuck, I appreciate the tip, but he does it and doesn't disconnect the battery, what could happen?
Well, I mean, even if you do disconnect the battery, there's always this, it's half a dozen one another. You might get lucky and nothing happened. Otherwise, you might hook the battery back up and it automatically does the test because you just hooked the battery back up. And because the brake calipers were squeezed all the way out, it has to come back against the rotor. And as it does its self-test and pushes those pads back out against the rotor, the system goes, whoa, wait a minute. There must be air in the system because this is a spongy brake pad. And boom, you're down the rabbit hole.
Right.
And the first one I went down the rabbit hole on, I spent 7 days working on it until I got it figured out.
Yeah, when it says brake in op,
yeah,
you can't drive the car.
No.
You cannot drive the car.
Yeah, once you go down that rabbit hole with the electronic brakes on these things, and it's not just the Vettes, guys. They have the same problems with the Silverados and the Suburbans and anything that have these electric brakes on them now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's constantly doing a self-test and looking at everything to make sure that there's no air in the system and everything's where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, if you get lucky, you may not have any issue.
Right.
If you get unlucky, you're towing it to a dealer.
It's not worth the risk, man.
Yeah.
It's just really not. It just isn't.
I mean, can you do it? Sure. Maybe.
I just watched this over the weekend too. When you just said that, sure. Remind me of Chris Rock, if you guys remember from 1999. He says, you can drive a car with your feet if you want to, doesn't make it a good idea.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm sorry, totally unrelated, but whatever. Here's a follow-up from Ed. We did this when you were out, and it was talking about the 26 front parking camera, how it stayed on to, I think what his original speed was somewhere up in the 40s or 50s.
Right.
He said he contacted GM customer service, and they said something about just re-pushing that button again to kind of reset it, and I had suggested turning the car off, getting out, and coming back in and resetting it. It was the same kind of thing. He said his camera was staying on up to over 50 miles an hour, and he says, hey, next time you're in a 26, sorry, I didn't see this ahead of time, I would have filmed it. He goes, will you test it and see if that's doing it? This is a rare occurrence. It happened on my 23, and you're the only other one I've ever heard it happen to. I don't think you've had anybody come in through, so this is really a rare occurrence. So just, again, one of those communication gremlins that just popped in there. So
right.
Yeah, you're doing the fine thing, but if I see it again popping up and I get a chance to capture it, we'll share it again. But it's good to hear that the car's working well for you. Thanks for watching the channel.
All right, this comes from Jarvis. It says, I pray all is well with you and your family and Chuck. May 2026 be the best year ever for everyone. My question is how to determine when the cabin air filter needs to be changed. I haven't been able to find or locate anything in my info cluster indicating that. Also, once it's changed, how do you reset the life percentage back to 100 again? I've learned so much from your videos. Thank you for all you and Chuck do. You're a borough ambassador of the Corvette brand. Okay.
This is a little confusing too, because there's an air filter tab on your information screen. It's not the cabin air filter that he was referring to.
No, if you bring up where your oil change percentage is and scroll or arrow down, the next one down it says air filter life, and that's strictly for the engine air filter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They really don't monitor the cabin air filter. I will tell you from my experience of working on them that it seems like the cabin filters get dirtier on these than they have in previous models, and I think it's because it's where the air is intaked underneath the hood, front trunk.
Right.
It allows more dirt and debris to get in there than previous models.
Well, you got that vent right there that's actually helped keep the battery cool, but the filter's right off to the left.
Well, that's where the outside filter draws from for the cabin.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
I just go off your service manual or maintenance schedule, which recommends every 2 years.
Every 2, or just have it checked, when you're in for an oil change or what have you. There's people that are in different climates, more of a dustier desert type of climate, Arizona, New Mexico, Arizona, that kind of thing, Texas, that your stuff may get dirtier sooner than others just based on your driving and what it's exposed to. So
right, but just like everything else, just like we tell you with the oil, whether you're putting the mileage on it or not, it should be done every 12 months. Same with the cabin filter. You should change it every 2 years like the recommendation is in your owner's manual.
This is going to, and we're just going to spin this off into a DCT question and a follow-up, what we talked about probably 3-4 Tech Tuesdays ago, you know, your second service or even your 3-year service. You've got a client that has a car that is 2 months away from being 3 years old, right? Has 7,000 miles on it.
Correct.
It's January. You've got the car here now. You might as well do the 3-year transmission fluid flush. You need to do it. Even though it only has 7,000 miles on it, you're 2 months away. A lot of people, well, I'll just bring it back when it's at 3 years. You're close enough. You might as well do it now because you need to do it, because this is nothing that GM actually pays for. You pay for, but doing it early is going to be to your benefit. That way you have your records and you keep the transmission warranty intact. So I think that's
this
so
is
important.
Nothing that benefits General Motors.
Right.
This benefits you when you have a transmission issue.
Right.
I'd rather do it 2 months early than 2 months late, because then they can use that 2 month late as, oh, you missed your 3 years by 2 months. Sorry.
Well, here's what happens too. Say if it was a timing issue and you had to do it in March, you know, oh, I'm going to wait till March. Well, it's January. You got a better shot of getting your car here and getting it serviced now. If you call back to schedule in March, hey, we'll see you in May. Huh? We get slammed, man.
True story.
Yeah, that's when we get really, really busy. It's like I've had people call me, hey, I just called to get an oil change. It's 2.5 months getting an oil change? Welcome to vet season, man.
Well, yeah,
exactly
I'm not, this becomes more of a convenience for you and me. It's convenient for me to do it now while it's here. It's convenient for you to have it done while it's here rather than try to squeeze out 2 more months.
Right, and it's funny, people ask us, they watch the channel, this client watches us, didn't buy that car from us, but he relied on you. What do you think I should do? So thank you for asking that question. Sometimes you don't like the answer, but the answer is, yes, you need to do the transmission fluid flush. It's time to do it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Like I said, we had that one internal one. The car only had, 700 miles on it, but it was 3 years old.
3 years old, that's right.
The used car manager lost his mind. I'm sorry, dude. Owner's manual, GM recommendation every 3 years. Don't say nothing about mileage. It says 3 years.
That's right. And it does make a difference.
It does say 3 years or 42,000.
Or 45,000,
Or 45,000, yeah.
That's right.
But it don't say, if you've only got 700, don't worry about it. It says 3 years or.
All right. Thanks for watching Tech Tuesday. Beautiful rides are coming up in just a moment. Here is one from Tom. This is a follow-up to a video that we did probably 2-3 months ago, and I'm glad that he mentioned this. We talked about changing out the center console push button. And they changed that part number. I put the part number up on the screen for you guys. Tom says, hey, I went to my dealership with the part number you put on the video, and they said that part is discontinued, and basically just left them hanging with no resolution on fixing that. Well, if you had a Chevy dealership that actually put the part number in, as soon as you put it in, yes, it says discontinued, because I did it, and it took all but 30 seconds with our parts manager. Immediately, it pops over and says, here's the replacement part number that replaces the discontinued one. Order this, and it's readily available. We have 7 here right now. This dealer did nothing to help him, and look at that. So this is the stuff we talk about. I hate that you guys have those bad experiences, but once you learn from other people's bad experiences and it happens to you, then you have a resolution that you can say on the, hey, why don't you check that number? They're supposed to be, you shouldn't have to do that, but because you watch us, you can say, hey, you got to do this or do this. You guys are making suggestions. And I don't know if we have it in this week or next week. I had one guy actually said he was making suggestion based on what we said in the video, and the guy goes, where'd you get that information? This is why I watch Rick and Chuck. And he went to 2 dealers and they flipped out, because we're sharing this real time, real information for you guys in real situations. So it's unfortunate for Tom. So by the way, new part number has been up on the screen, but let me just say it. It is 858-06061. That is the new part number, and we actually did a video on that. And while we're talking, I've been showing some B footage, and Chuck showed how easy it is to replace that and talked about the importance of retaining the original spring. So if you missed that video, I'll put a link down below in the description and the very first comment so you can watch it in its entirety. But Tom, thanks again from New York reaching out to us, and I hope to see you at the Bash this year as well.
Don't think we're above anybody else, dude. Trust me, I fight with our parts department constantly over stuff just like what you're talking about. I've got a car down here that's got a recall on it that my service information says it's a wiring kit, and when I sent up the parts, they told me it was a retainer. I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's a wiring kit. Nope, it's a retainer. So I go back over to my computer, get the part number. I said, is this the part number that you ordered? They're like, yeah, the retainer. I'm like, okay, well, and this is the disconnect sometimes you have between service and parts in any brand.
Right.
What they're calling it in service information, what I do is called a wiring kit. What they call it in parts in the catalog is a retainer. But I know they have the right part number coming because I made sure of it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he gave them a part number, so if they actually went to the point and saw the message, it's discontinued.
Sure.
All you had to do is look at a little bit to the left of the screen,
Sure.
and the new replacement part number that we just gave you tonight was right there. So it should not have been an inconvenience like it was for this guy.
But I deal with it all the time too.
Yeah.
I go up there and they say, they order me a part, but they didn't read the note that was in that part that
Right.
says, if you replace this part, you have to replace this as well. So I go through it too. We all
in
do.
the details, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, this one comes from Gary. It says, first, Happy New Year. I have a question on the C8. I'm waiting in line at the gas station and I run out of gas. It will not restart.
We haven't had this question. We haven't had this in a long time.
How do I move the car to the pump? No one has a gas can or a container. Well, you're going to have to find somebody with a gas can or a container.
Right.
Because there ain't no other way.
Well, we did. If you remember, though, I remember this. I mean, I don't know how long. I won't be able to find the video for tonight's show, but I remember it was funny because we were playing off that people would have their door open and they would dance and they would do the
yeah.
key, and then you were doing that. You were doing that dance. It was funny as hell. Anyways, you can't open the driver's door. Like if you put it in neutral and open a driver's door, it's going to immediately put it in park. But we found out, which if you're by yourself, how the heck are you going to do this? If you open up the passenger door and you have it in neutral, that you could push the car.
Right.
So if you had somebody to help you, passenger door open, you can put it in neutral, then you can move forward. But as soon as you open, you can never reset it. Once that driver's door is open, game over. You've got a brick on wheels.
If he's sitting in line in drive and the car shuts down, he's not going to be able to put it in neutral because the transmission will not shift unless the car is running.
We got to start the car first.
But
that's right.
As long as the car's not in park, if somebody's with you, yes, they can get out of the passenger side and push you up to the gas can or gas pump. But as soon as you open the driver's door, it's going to automatically lock the transmission and set the parking brake.
Yeah, and I forgot, we did test that. I had the car turn off. And the door was still closed. It didn't go to park. I was in drive, and I was able to put it in neutral. But as soon as I opened the door, it was game over. So if I'm able to just keep it in drive, my foot on the brake, and then I was able to put it in neutral, open up the passenger door. If you had somebody with you, then yes, then at least you can maneuver the car up to the pump. But other than that,
you're going to have somebody bring you gas. Ricky knows because he ran out over here, and I had to run across the street and take him a gallon of gas.
Yes, I did.
And he was like 20 feet from the gas pump.
I was. Hey, we're learning together, man. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we're still having fun with this car. So.
Absolutely.
That's right. You got any more, or was that it?
That's it.
That was it? Okay, we're going to finish the last one, which is a great segue into our beautiful ride segment. This guy says, Rick, I think this was last week. He says, Rick, I am disappointed and I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. I submitted my beautiful rides back in November and I've never seen it appear on the show. Sometimes you guys miss it. And sometimes I miss these emails. I get hundreds of emails, and right now I'm inundated with everybody wants to buy something that I don't have, I can't get, don't know if I'm going to get, or doesn't exist yet. And I'm not on a salary. So I'm having a tough start to 2026. So I'm doing what I can to get to all of your pictures. So I do apologize to this gentleman. I think it is Jeff. We've got your beautiful rides coming up and many others. Thanks for watching the channel. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs up the video. I think we're going to do more of a business show on Sunday. Shorter conversation, again, a real direct conversation. Should you lease your Corvette or should you buy it?
Too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you I can't wait. to discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead. 'Cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one. And I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. 'Cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one.